The following may contain offensive language, adult humor, and or content that some viewers may find offensive. The views and opinions expressed by any one speaker does not explicitly or necessarily reflect or represent those of Mark Radulich or W2M Network. Please listen with caution, or don't listen at all.
Get ready to dive into the comic book realm where heroes rise and villains take the helm. We're here to dissect the stories in the art. A source material, we tear the panels apart. Welcome to the source material show now. We don't hold back, we won't let you down. From Batman to Spider-Man, it's all fair game. We'll talk about the heroes, the villains, and everything in between. Oh yeah.
Jesse Starsher, I have something to say to you.
Say it.
You're a good man. You'll never sell out and go to Saudi Arabia.
That's correct.
I just watched the Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
And I'm going to talk about this tomorrow on my TikTok at length. But, you know, everybody sells out. Everybody's got a price for Shiki Allah Turkey, whatever the hell his name is. The $1 Million Saudi.
Oh, boy.
And they ran a commercial, in all seriousness. They ran a commercial for WrestleMania in Saudi Arabia next year. Have you heard about this?
I've heard that they moved some venues to Saudi Arabia, but yeah, go ahead. I haven't heard about the commercial.
Well, the commercial in the fact that WrestleMania is going to be in Saudi Arabia next year are two different things.
Oh.
So the Royal Rumble was just in Saudi Arabia. It was in Riyadh as part of Riyadh season, you see. Riyadh season's been a thing for a while now, and it's not just wrestling. It's mixed martial arts, it's soccer, it's boxing. It's a lot of boxing. The reason why there have been the dream fights as of late, like, you know, Usyk versus Tyson Fury twice, was because of Saudi blood money. So, you know, the WWE has been going to Saudi Arabia for a while now.
Right.
And since it no longer matters if they sell tickets to anything, they've got enough television rights stuff and Saudi blood money that all they need to do is put on a pretty looking product. It has to look pretty. Put some blush on it. My shadow. Give it some fake lashes. Okay?
Okay.
So I'm watching the Royal Rumble with my kids this afternoon. We went to go see Send Help. After I ranted into my phone about that, more on that tomorrow night on Damn You Hollywood. We went home and we caught up with the Royal Rumble because I had my first judging gig, not orgies, but MMA. I did
orgies. Wait. Tell me there's not some kind of weird subculture thing where people go
and remember the running gag so that I wouldn't have to explain them.
Oh well, I don't remember this.
Came from the you take the
BDSM quiz.
Yeah. We were talking about like being an orgy judge.
Okay, all right, continue.
Anyway, so long story short, I didn't watch the Royal Rumble on Saturday because I had to go to Clearwater to the OCC Bar and Grill to judge an amateur card that was the undercard for a regional MMA outfit that was doing their pro card in the evening. So I picked up my kids. The show started around 5.
Really curious how you landed this gig, by the way.
Well, way back when, before my daughter was born, I was doing rolling jiu-jitsu at Highlander MMA.
I remember you talking about that.
Yeah, and that's where I met a guy who is no longer my friend because I lost him in the divorce. But I also met these other people, and some of these other people, unlike the friend that I lost in the divorce, gave me good advice and were nice to me, and are people that are still useful in my life. And they guided me to a class where I can get licensed to be an amateur judge. And I did a bunch around the time that Lily was born, but life goes on, things change, and I haven't done it in like 13, 14 years.
Wow.
And then I got a call out of the blue by a guy I know from that era that hasn't talked to me since then. But he found me on Facebook and he was like, "Do you still judge?" And I'm like, I'm sure it's expired by now. He's like, yeah, those don't expire. You're like licensed forever. Like, oh,
okay.
then sure.
Yeah.
And as it turns out, another Highlander guy was there. The guy, we still keep in touch on Facebook. So it was like a family reunion.
Neat.
So, which pushed watching the Royal Rumble to today. So back to that. So we're watching the Royal Rumble, and they show the commercial. It's not necessarily. It's half a commercial for WrestleMania and half Riyadh season. Come to Saudi Arabia, known for its tourism. Okay,
Really?
It's just pictures of beaches and fun in the sun. What Saudi Arabia is known for? Not the beheadings of journalists.
Mm-hmm.
Not the funding of terrorism worldwide. Not the human rights violations, the mistreatment of women, moral police, etc.
Yeah.
And we were making fun of it because it was really like come to Riyadh, hey, like Riyadh is a mispronunciation of Rio de Janeiro, where you're bound to see half-naked Saudi women on the beaches. Fun in the sun, Jesse. Take your family. Take Riyadh season, Jesse. Take your family for a family vacation in Saudi Arabia. That was the commercial. And while you're here, check out professional wrestling extraordinaire, the WWE's premier 2-night event, WrestleMania. We're Saudi Arabia. We're modern now. We didn't just as soon as last year kill a guy. We're Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, yes.
So I, of course, ruthlessly made fun of this, as did my son. And my daughter laughed herself silly. And I thought about this, and I said, because the question came up, like, why is Sami Zayn there? Didn't he swear never to do this?
Right.
And he was in the main event title match. He fought Drew McIntyre. Which I imagine the pitch to Sami Zayn went something like this: Sammy, is that CM Punk sold out? You might as well sell out too and come to Saudi Arabia for fun in the sun. And he was like, "You're right." I mean, and this is the point that I'm getting to. There's only been like an 80-year ignoring of human rights violations because we're not really interested in human rights. We're really interested in geopolitical beneficence. We want beneficence. Yes, we want to benefit from a strategic partnership with Saudi Arabia, and we're not really interested in what they do to their women. And we're not really interested in them killing journalists. Like, we'll clutch our pearls publicly, but backstage where the magic happens, nobody cares. Because if they cared, they wouldn't sell them Patriot missiles. They wouldn't sell them tanks. They wouldn't sell them jets. Right. And if they cared, none of what I've said for the past 8 minutes would be happening. So they don't care. Which takes us to Sami Zayn. Why should he care? CM Punk doesn't care anymore. Why should Sami Zayn, who has no power, and his objection will not matter, why shouldn't he go and collect a paycheck? So I would imagine they more or less said that to him without all the geopolitical stuff. They were like, come on, Sammy. At this point, who's not going to Saudi Arabia? Soccer players are going, tennis players are going, everyone's going to Saudi Arabia.
Release your pearls.
Right. And so they said, we'll put you in a match with Drew McIntyre. How often are you getting title matches these days? You're not. You're Sami Zayn. You're the guy who, we try to break your back every other month by slamming your back into the ring apron. And so they, okay, I'll go to Saudi Arabia and I'll do a title match with Drew McIntyre. And Drew McIntyre proceeds to put him through a table. Which I think is a great metaphor for our dealing with Saudi Arabia, don't you think?
Perfect.
Which brings us back to what I said to you initially. You're the only man left in the world, Jesse, who has integrity. You'll never go to Saudi Arabia.
Oh my goodness. Well, that
was a 9-minute bit for that was the payoff to a 9-minute bit.
There is that, and there is a severe lack of me leaving the basement.
That was the joke.
Yep.
It has nothing to do with your integrity. It's your inability to vacation.
That is correct.
Source material live, everybody.
That is right. My goodness. I just
did a whole what got cut, didn't I?
No, I think so. I've got a plan for all those.
All right. Well, you can have your show back now. I'm going to watch basketball.
Okay, you do that.
Thanks.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Source Material Comics Podcast. Tonight, we are going to be discussing Drax the Destroyer in 2 arcs that came out in comic books. One is called Drax the Destroyer, and I think the trade, and the story is called Earthfall. This came out in 2005, written by Keith Giffen. And then we have the CM Punk, relating back to what Mark was talking about. Yes, CM Punk writing.
Who no longer has any integrity.
No integrity. But back in 2015, he may have had some then.
He absolutely had it then. He used to care.
Yes.
Back when he did this comic, he was all about caring and fighting the good fight and standing up for what's right. And then the $1 Million Man gave him $100 to bounce a basketball, and here he is in Saudi Arabia.
Money, 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 money. So
everyone's got a price for Turkey El Shiki.
Everyone has to pay. I remember like the buzz about CM Punk writing the Drax book. So I'm really excited that we get a chance to get into that tonight. But we're going to try and cover these chronologically. First one was 4 issues, which is Drax the Destroyer, Earthfall. That's 4 issues.
This is the one I wanted to talk about. I threw this in there so that we would have 3 books and plenty of issues. I really wanted to focus on the CM Punk. So when you were like, and you're going to do the show with anyway, and you want it, and I'm going to comply like a good boy.
Yeah.
But I think it's hilarious that like I'm here for the CM Punk books, and the Earthfall book was just extra. And you're like, we're starting with Earthfall, and I'm like, oh.
Well, we have to. Because I feel like we do, considering it occurred in 2005. Plus, one of the characters that gets introduced in Earthfall is also showing up in the Drax story, and that's Cammy.
Oh, that was her?
Yes, that's the girl. We get introduced to her in Earthfall.
Oh, I wasn't reading it that closely.
Yeah. Well, let's do a podcast on it then. How's that sound?
I read it well enough.
I have some fun, exciting stuff we're going to do when we get to the second volume of the Drax CM Punk series, because we're going to, I say second volume, it's the second half. I did issues 6 through 11. It's kind of how we're splitting it up.
Don't know why they released this as 2 trades, like why it wasn't just released as like one complete trade. It's one story. Yeah,
it is. I think the first one, the Galaxy's Best Detective. Boy, I may not have followed like how your book is split up. What do you have the books there by you by chance?
I always have the floppies now.
See? I assume that our first book is good. I assume our first book is ends at issue 5.
Yeah, it's 1 through 5, and then 6 through 11.
Good. All right, because that's where the story naturally felt like it had a break in it. So that's how I split it up.
You read the floppies? You read the floppy floppies?
Yeah.
Like
I took a guess at where this.
No, I'm saying like you read it individual issues, right?
Oh
like
yeah. I'm sorry. Gotcha. Yes. Okay. Yes. So I did not have any idea how it was split up in the trade, but I guessed, and I was absolutely right. But it felt very natural. But yeah, we're gonna have some fun because you. Like a good man, when you read your stuff, you did your breakdown through Chat GPT. And
I had some shit to say.
I did the same thing. Mm-hmm. And then I took yours and put it with mine. And I asked it, I said, well, hey, here's both of our views.
And did one Chat GPT, did your Chat GPT say, wow, him and his Chat GPT are way cynical. Why do you do this?
We're going to have some fun discussion when that happens. So be ready. That's going to be happening towards the end.
I'm ready, Daddy.
But yeah, let's talk about Drax Earthfall. This happened in 2000, dropped in September of 2005, was on the shelves late September 2005. Written by Keith Giffen, who's been around for quite a while. I'll probably throw in some some creative team history here before we get into the story and post edit. But the artist on this was Mitchell Breitweiser, and I will say that he had a very small career in comics between 2005 and 2012, I think. And he probably did. I think this was one of his earliest works. And I'm talking like legit, like maybe 20 to 30 credits on like some World of Comics. So the artist here, not around very long. And then lettered by Corey Pettit, colored by Brian Reber. So Mark, before we jump into this, I don't know if you have anything important that you want to say aside from what you've already said about why you picked these books.
Well, yeah, let me reiterate, and then I'll put my serious face on.
Here it comes.
I was curious. What started this was, one, was looking for stuff for us to talk about. Two, I had heard that CM Punk was doing comic books in between hiatuses or dalliances with All Elite Wrestling, which I don't remember the years. I was still with Melissa when CM Punk came back to All Elite Wrestling, but I had stopped watching All Elite Wrestling when the bit with Jungle Boy Jack happened in England, and CM Punk's like fucking brawl with the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega. I've since like watched a lot of interviews on it and whatever. But yeah, CM Punk left the WWE, proceeded to go into mixed martial arts because if you'll remember, he was into Muay Thai. What the fuck is Muay Thai? And like CM Punk sold himself as like this mixed martial artist. That was his character. Before the Straight Edge Society, before the Pipe Bomb, his whole thing in ECW, like the WWE version, was I'm a mixed martial artist.
Mm-hmm.
And so like I remember his promo on ECW. He was like, I am an expert in all forms of combat, and he was like jiu-jitsu, boxing, Muay Thai, and then infamously, according to legend Vince McMahon backstage, what the fuck is Muay Thai? Muay Thai.
Thanks, Vince.
So he goes into the UFC the same way that like Brock Lesnar did, and Kimbo Slice, and all of these guys that like came from other areas, from wrestling to bum fights, were given opportunities to prove themselves in the UFC. Like, let's see what you got. And CM Punk crumbled. Like they tried with Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar became champion. Fucking hit Randy Couture so hard he went rolling back to a Limp Bizkit concert. On the other hand, Shane Carwin hit him. He went to sleep, and the ref was like, "He'll be fine. Wake up, Brock. Wake up. Oh, I'm still awake." And then he won the next round. That's okay, because then he got murdered by what's his nuts. But doesn't matter. So like they were willing to take flyers on some of these guys. They took a flyer on CM Punk. He got crushed. Like, it was embarrassing. Like, it looked like fucking he got little brothered.
Mm-hmm.
And then they were like, let's try you against a literal scarecrow. and the scarecrow beat him.
Oh no.
That was the end of it.
Time to hang him up.
It was, yeah. So far he's not really a mixed martial artist so much as he's a big fat liar. And if Robert were here right now, he's like, that's not fair. Like, yeah, it's kind of fair. But yeah, so his mixed martial arts career was over. Why did I go into that whole long story? Because between then and him coming back to the WWE, he tries a lot of different things. He does acting, he does comic book writing, he goes to Chicago Blackhawk games, he goes back to the WWE and does some like commentary gigs. So he's like a real renaissance man during this period. That's how I found out about his Drax comics, among other ones. These are the only full runs he does. He's done like issues or short stories like within compendiums here and there. But this is like the full on, like, we trust you to write an entire series. All 11 issues, Hotshot. Tom King writes $500 million a year. We're going to give you a hot 11 and a partner.
Yeah, you're going to need somebody to kind of make sure you're, and that's understandable. I mean, if you're going straight into the comic book industry, you kind of need somebody to hold your hand a little bit.
Well, it's so funny. He said that he wanted to do Punisher, and they were like, slow down. Let's give you a character that if you fuck this up, nobody cares. Here's Drax the Destroyer, who, in his own solo book, who cares if it does well or not? He's a Guardian side character.
Right.
So that's why we're talking about it, because I was curious to see if CM Punk's abilities in the UFC translated to his abilities in comics. Turns out he's a better comic book writer than he is a fighter.
Yeah. Then real quick before I get into this, give me your thoughts. I mean, and they may not be very many, but as far as Drax as a character.
My son walked over to me right before the podcast started. He was like, "Is Drax as dumb in the comics as he is in the movies?" And I'm like, "No, he's way dumber in the movies." And he didn't start off that way. He like in the first movie, he's a little closer to the comics than not. By the second and third movie, he's comic relief.
Mm-hmm.
And they made him stupid, but in a way that makes the normies laugh. What do you know? I mean, for me, I know some stuff about the Marvel Cosmic, and others I'm kind of blind to it. I don't know that much about Guardians of the Galaxy. These were not characters I followed. When the movie came out way back when, I didn't know, like it's Star-Lord, Groot, Rocket, Nebula, Gamora, Drax the Destroyer. And I'm like, who, and who?
Yeah.
These aren't the West Coast Avengers. Like if it had been the West Coast Avengers, I'd have been very familiar. But quite frankly, had it been the Great Lakes Avengers, I'd have been more familiar.
You might have had it. Yeah, right.
But I didn't really know anything about Guardians of the Galaxy. So Drax is a character. I'm not interested in the character. I was interested in CM Punk. So this could have literally been any character, and I'd have taken a flyer on it.
Yeah. Just to kind of throw this out here, his first appearance, Iron Man number 55, October of 1972, which I feel like that might have been right around the time Thanos' first appearance was as well.
I did not realize so many of them like best Marvel villains showed up in Iron Man first. Like, I don't want to give it away, but one of my favorite Marvel villains of all time is Fin Fang Foom.
Oh.
And I would have thought that's like because I'm a racist, a Shang-Chi character, or something else like that. Like he's not just a dragon; he's a space dragon. So I would have thought like he would have been a space villain of some kind, like the Fantastic Four or something like that. Nope, turns out he's an Iron Man villain.
Yeah. This is the same book. Iron Man number 55 is the same book that Thanos first appeared in. So Thanos and Drax definitely have a history here.
More importantly, when does the Thanos copter show up?
Yeah, not in these books. Well, yeah.
So just to conclude, I literally just did a search for Drax standalone books, and that's how I came across Earthfall, and it seemed like an interesting premise. Yeah. I can't tell you anything more about it, or why I picked it, or if I have any previous like touch with the character or the story or anything else about it. It was a random grab off of Amazon to complete the trio.
Okay. All right. Well, let's do a little bit of character background here and just got to get you prepped for what we're going to get into with Earthfall. So, of course, Drax the Destroyer. And at the start of this story, Drax is very different from the pop culture version many people know today. He's a powerful green-skinned alien warrior with a reputation for extreme violence, but he is also unstable, blunt, and he's quite mentally diminished. Other cosmic criminals fear him not for strategy, but for raw destruction. Now we get also here Cammy. We get introduced to Cammy, who is a 10-year-old girl from the isolated town of Coots Bluff, Alaska. She's sharp, she's sarcastic, emotionally guarded, and far more self-possessed than the adults around her. Cammy is not a traditional kid in danger character, though. She actively engages with the chaos around her and is curious about it rather than frightened. She is going to be our human lens of the story, pretty much. Cammy's friend Dex is in this. It's, kind of her emotional counterweight. Where Cammy is fearless and confrontational, Dex is anxious and empathetic. And overwhelmed by events. He reacts the way a normal child should react to aliens, violence, and occupation, and pees his pants at one point in this book. Then we have Pybok. Pybok is a Skrull warrior and strategist, best known, which I think he is the Super Skrull. I'd have to double check that. But
I had some Pybok for after dinner last night. Erica went out and got some Pybok from the local Christian ice cream store.
That's good. It's good stuff.
Not supposed to have Pybok with the diabetes and all, but
no.
Well, you should treat yourself to some Pybok.
I was going to say your doctor might have an issue. All right, so
with Pybok, yes.
Yeah. Pybok is a Skrull warrior and strategist. Best known for his intelligence rather than brute strength. In this story, he is primarily the antagonist, not because he's the most violent, but because he is the most calculating. Pybok understands leverage, fear, and authority, and he treats the situation like a problem to be managed rather than a battle to be won. Then we have Lunatic. spelled Lunatik, a volatile, cruel, and impulsive, being driven by instinct and aggression. He thrives on chaos and intimidation and has little patience for planning or restraint. Lunatic embodies the raw savagery of the cosmic criminals that we're going to be seeing in this story. Then we have the Blood Brothers, twin alien warriors who share a deep psychic bond. They operate as a unit, feeding off each other's rage and bravado. Obsessed with reputation, dominance, and proving their toughness, they are quick to fight and slow to think. Their presence reinforces the idea that not all villains here are masterminds. Some are just dangerous and insecure predators. And some couple mentions in this book of Moondragon and Thanos. I think a lot of us know who Thanos is. I'm not going to talk about that. But Moondragon, even though she's not active in the story, she's kind of shown in a flashback. She's deeply tied to Drax's past. I think it might have been his daughter. I think that was meant. But she represents Drax's lost humanity and emotional core, and her existence looms over the narrative as part of his personal history and motivation. So I'm going to go ahead and read the gist here, and we'll get into talking about the book. So Earthfall is a bleak, small-scale Marvel cosmic story about what happens when interstellar monsters crash into a forgotten town and no heroes come to save the day. After a prison transport carrying some of the galaxy's worst criminals, including Drax the Destroyer, crashes near Coots Bluff, Alaska, the survivors seize control of the town through fear and violence. As the occupation tightens, the story follows both the rebirth and transformation of Drax, which I did not realize we were getting in this story, from a confused brute into a focused intelligence force of destruction. And the journey of Cammy, a hardened 10-year-old girl drawn into the chaos as a way out of her broken life. With no Avengers, no Fantastic Four, and no safety net, the series becomes less about superheroics and more about inevitability, survival, and change, culminating in a quiet but decisive resolution that leaves the town scarred, Drax fundamentally altered, and Cammy stepping into a future far removed from the world she knew. So there you go. That's the gist of Drax the Destroyer, Earthfall. Like I said, 4-issue series here. Mark, I mean, I'm going to throw some things at you here. I believe I have. No! Get ready. I guess first question, I mean, what did you think of the story?
Of the three, it's my least favorite.
Okay.
I don't know. I part of the reason why I grabbed it was because it was Con Air.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
like
good.
A spaceship full of alien criminals crashes on Earth, and Drax has to run around and try to put them back in the box. Great. Yeah. That sounds like a great movie, let alone that sounds like a familiar movie. It's Con Air. I was expecting, and because of the way the book is presented, I had a feeling this was a more serious version of Drax. My understanding of Drax is he definitely has a bloodlust for Thanos.
Right.
I think the stuff about killing his family is pretty consistent across all interpretations of Drax. Post when he was something else, like very early in the 80s. But I don't want to offend the comic geeks out there that know this stuff by heart, so I won't go any further than that. But I will say, this feels like older Drax. This feels like the Drax that doesn't show up on screen, that is taken from the comics and shows up on screen in the movies. This feels like the very older, more serious Drax, which either way, I was interested in how they would treat him and what they would do with him. I just didn't get a lot of that in this book. I mean, maybe I wasn't paying close enough attention. I read it when we were done with the Royal Rumble between like 6 and 7 tonight. And I wanted to finish it, make sure I had it finished in time for the podcast. Just short enough read. But I feel like this is yet another, here is Drax the Destroyer. Here is very familiar comic book hero. What's the story about? This child earthling sidekick. We're going to make her the center of this book. Even though no one's going to buy the book, Child Earthling Sidekick, featuring Drax the Destroyer. They'll only buy the book if it says Drax the Destroyer. But we're not going to talk really as much about Drax the Destroyer. We're going to talk about this kid instead. I don't like the bait and switch with Cammy.
Okay, all right. So my thoughts going into this, I mean, I definitely remember. I didn't read a lot of Marvel Cosmic, just like you. I think maybe some of the Drax interactions that I've had in the past were probably Infinity Gauntlet, but I knew that he was like a big dumb oaf. Like he was
You
always
dummy!
he was. And you get at the beginning of this book, that's what he is. He's like this hulked up, green skinned, thing of
Force
just
of
full
nature.
force of nature, mass destruction. This guy can, but he is not bright. Like he is stupid. And you see that in the dialogue where he's talking.
I think you're being a little unfair to Drax.
Well, okay, that's fine.
He's
I'll give you.
concrete. He's blunt. He's like stupid. I don't think really properly describes him. I would say he's not an aggressive thinker. He's not. Let's trying to word I'm looking for here. He's
Verbose.
No, that means you talk.
He's definitely not. He's definitely not verbose. No hit Drax. No hit Drax. Drax head hurt. He sounds like a Neanderthal.
He sounds like, what is it? The biker cave Mongo.
Mongo, yeah. No hit Drax.
No hit Drax.
And there's a point where I mean, he's clearly confused as we get.
I think when you say stupid, I think like dangerous, like he's bait McTrap Springer. Like that's stupid to me. I'm being.
I think he could have been.
I don't know. I just think he's the kind of like limited intelligence where because he's so he's practically invincible,
right?
So he doesn't have. Think about this. Did you ever watch Black Adam?
Yes.
Where every time Black Adam entered a room, he went through the wall.
Oh yes.
Because he could.
Right.
And Black Adam, does certain things because he knows he's invincible. Nothing's gonna hurt him. So like what? So it's kind of that. I'll use your word just for easy language, and we can move this on. I'll stop interrupting you. But like, it's that kind of stupid. It's I don't have the intelligence that self-preservation causes because I don't need to self-preserve. I'm indestructible.
Sure. But there's also a moment where before, things change for him when he looks at Pybok, and just because Pybok has green skin, he thinks that that's his dad. So
he's a simple kind of man.
I feel like he's, there's some mental stunting going on there. At the very least.
Special.
What I didn't realize though is that this was going to be a story about how he transforms into the Drax that we know from the films. Now this comes out in 2005, which is well before the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I say well before. We're like 3 years before, I think, or maybe a couple years before Hulk, the Incredible Hulk. So, and we're well before Guardians of the Galaxy. So cinematic Drax is not there yet. But I remember seeing Batista's portrayal of Drax going, this is not the big dumb guy, like the really dumb guy that I remember. So, it's interesting to see that this is the transition where we learn how he actually changed into something brand new. So let me ask you about that transformation. I mean, I guess the way that it is explained, and that's with a question mark for sure, is that he was drinking fuel. He was drinking light speed plasma. After this, after again, try. He's not the brightest, but Pybok was talking about how I found him, sitting by the wreckage, and he was thirsty, and he was drinking. He was drinking some type of like star plasma or something that fueled this ship, and most people would die from the fumes. He just was drinking it and then realized that he didn't like the taste and stopped drinking it.
I don't see how it's any different than Four Loko.
Okay, sure. But he then, like at later on, as things progress throughout the story, he gets into it with the Blood Brothers. The Blood Brothers, I don't know, just feel like they need to start a fight with Drax. The fight, goes and goes and goes, ends up in town, I think, at some point. And then it's oh my goodness, Lunatic, who kind of takes him by surprise, takes Drax by surprise, and then all of a sudden Pybok basically puts a blade through Drax's head and kills him right there in front of the town. It's then later that Cammy follows, or at least convinces one of the Blood Brothers that Pybok said I could have this body. Pybok said, and you know, the Blood Brothers like, okay, whatever, throws him down into a ravine. She goes down there, sits by him while he continues to smoke, and they're trying to figure out what is, you know, she has no idea what she's going to do with this thing, but she just thinks it's cool because what else is there to do in Coots Bluff or whatever the hell it's called. So she watches this body smoke, and then all of the sudden, as night falls, like a fist comes barreling out of the chest of whatever Drax was, and it's Drax reborn. That's the main thing that we get out of this. I think that's issue 3 when that happens. What are your thoughts on that? You know, being a thing. Like, what'd you think?
I think it's an interesting story. I'll tell you this: I'm struggling to give you something because I don't want you to pull teeth out of me. So, but I did.
I feel like
the story did not reach me the way that you were hoping it might. I will say this, because I'm used to Drax being indestructible. It's kind of a part of his character. Seeing him die and get resurrected was at least one of the more memorable parts of the book.
Sure. It's a weird way, though. I mean, we don't even get any explanation as to how the hell this happens. Like, you know, it's not like somebody says, "Oh, yes, that makes sense. It's part of his race to do that." He dies and then he reforms inside his own body like a cocoon. I don't know what the hell happened. He just pops out of the guy's body. His own dead body comes out of there. And then we have a new reformed, a very slender Drax now. And
a very sleek looking Drax, you know, bathing suit body.
As you know, prior to him dying, you know, there were flashes of intelligence that Drax was having. And then when we get the new Drax, he's actually way more intelligent than it seems like his counterpart was prior to that. So, you know, that was probably, just like you said, one of the more memorable parts of the book. Did you have any thoughts on Cammy here, his sidekick?
Every girl character in these Marvel books, it looks like there's someone's little sister that got dragged to a local punk rock show at the community center.
Yeah.
Every last one of them. Just once, I want to see like a girl in one of these books come out and she's like, "Oh my God, I don't want to be involved in this. I just got my nails done. Do you have any idea how long it took me to get these lashes put in? I'm not going on an adventure with you." And it's like be more interesting if like oh no, I'm forced to go on an adventure with Drax the Destroyer. But I just want to go home. I have a date this Saturday.
No, that is not Cammy.
Or here's the thought: boys like adventures. You know, what if it had been a boy? I'm just saying. What if it had been a teenage 10-year-old, you know, or 10-year-old boy who longs for adventure and he wants to get off his farm and, you know, and he sees Drax the Destroyer and he's like, "Oh boy, this is my opportunity. Take me with you to Oz." To Drax. And Drax is like, "Oh, Thanos killed my children and here we have a child and I will take on this child because I miss my own and I am purposeless if I am not a father." Hey, perfectly nice ideas.
Okay.
Nope. Yeah. Every one of these girls has to look like the bass player from fucking Hole.
Well, again, they give her a bit of a backstory here.
Fucking L7 Riot Girl band. I can't go on an adventure with you. I have to sing about feminism.
I would say that they did at least a fair enough job to kind of give everybody an understanding as to why she is like the way that she is, though. You know,
I'm not arguing that. I'm arguing it's the same character every time we.
I hear you.
In one of these books.
But I mean, I felt like, you know, I'm not seeing too often that we're going to, you know, some young girls wanting to go off on This felt very much like a Doctor Who companion vibe for sure.
You have a daughter, right?
Correct.
Okay. Was she ever a teenager?
I think so.
Did she have friends?
At one point.
Okay. Your eldest son.
Yes.
Is he a teenager?
Yes.
Does he have friends?
Yes.
Okay. If Drax the Destroyer lands in your front yard,
it's a story as old as time, Mark.
Who's getting on the ship?
Yeah.
Mongo and his friends, or Kira and her friends?
I hear you. But
Do you?
But that's what makes the story interesting. I mean, if we're going to go ahead and do the same old trope over and over again, we're going to send the kid, the young boy out there. Of course, it wouldn't matter to me. It wouldn't have mattered to me one way or the other.
Well, also the girls are always snotty. They're just snotty girls. Every
snotty
last
girls.
one of them. Snotty girls.
Snotty girls.
Let's read a book called Snotty Girls.
Oh yes, right.
And why can't like the boys are not possessive of being snotty? We don't have snotty boys out there. Like, oh, you big oaf, you big dummy. Like, Star Lord's out there, Iron Man out there, Thor's out there. They sent me the Timu Hulk. We don't have snotty boys, sarcastic boys.
Mark Radlich's Marvel Cinematic Universe, and just Marvel Universe, just made up of guys and young boys.
It's a sausage factory. No, that's not true. That's not true because I do want there to be sexy women.
Okay, there's got to be some bad girls in there. All right.
Yes,
then.
Everybody looks like Ms. Marvel in her bathing suit era.
Yeah.
Not in her women wrestler in the Saudi Arabian Royal Rumble outfit.
Flat as the number 4. Is that what it was?
No, she's built like the number. She's built like the letter L.
Okay. Oh, it's horrible.
Or the number 1, I think is what he said. But did you watch the Royal Rumble with the chicks in it?
No, I didn't watch anything. I mean, I saw who won. That's it.
They all came out in bodysuits. At one point, fucking Candice LeRae came out in this red jumper outfit, and both Erica and Lily was like, "What is she trying to cosplay as a Van Halen album?"
I was going to say, supposedly, I did see that pop across my feed. Supposedly, that is a thing that she was doing.
Was she actually doing? She was actually doing a Van Halen album.
I feel like that's what the now you never know what you could read on the internet, but somebody said that she was paying tribute to Van Halen. I was like, oh, okay.
Well, good. I hope next time she comes out as OU812 and for unlawful carnal knowledge.
All right then.
What do you think for unlawful carnal knowledge is if you just use the first letters of each one?
I know exactly.
For unlawful carnal knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think OU812 means? The letter and number combination, Jesse.
I cannot.
OU812.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Panama.
I'll sing it. Reach down between my legs. I ease the seat back. Oh, wait a second. All right. You can.
Do you have a pencil? Are you?
I do.
Okay. Are you hot for teacher?
I
can do this all night.
I got my pencil.
Settle down, David.
Someone give me something to write on, man.
He's got it bad.
I'm a hot for teacher. I'll watch that video. Let's just do a MHOD right now.
Fucking
share our screen.
The best
David
Lee Roth Van Halen.
I'll watch Hot for Teacher any day of the week.
Oh my god! Every time I sing songs now, I have to do minstrel hands. Aren't you glad this is an audio-only podcast? Once you're done with it?
Indeed. So okay. Yep, that's precisely where it's going. Did you at least appreciate the fact that we didn't get any other superheroes in this?
Yes.
Okay. All right. That's good.
Just ask me yes/no questions. That's easier for me.
I should have came up with 100 of them. We're gonna fill 10 minutes real easy.
Not that again. I'll just answer slowly. Yes. Why are you talking that way?
Dude, that yes or no segment was so fucking hilarious because you were like, yes, but blah 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 blah. And I was like, oh my gosh, gotta write all this shit in. And I was like, at some point he's gonna realize by question 30, he just needs to say yes or no. and then we could get through these 120 questions.
You should have saved it to 10 questions instead, because
No,
I write
that isn't going
form.
to gauge you correctly.
Then take control of your own podcast and tell me to shut the fuck up.
Oh, okay, that's fine. Any issues with the art? Did you like the art? Was it fine?
Yeah, the art's fine.
Okay, the art was fine.
I didn't like the word bubbles though. The word bubbles bothered me.
Anything that like reason why? I didn't have an issue with that.
Just like the weird way they did them, that they were like different.
Oh yes, because they were speaking a different like alien language, and that was their way of kind of showing you that it was not English that they were talking. I know exactly what you're talking about. Okay. I mean, obviously, this is a one and done for you. You're never coming back to Drax Earthfall, right?
Come back to what? It was a 4-issue limited series.
Yeah. Well, that's a question. Sometimes some people might find something, that.
What
really
are you
stuck out
asking if
to
I
them.
would reread it? I don't reread anything.
Would you ever come back to it for any specific reason ever?
No.
Okay. Very good. All right. All right. Let me see if I do have a handful of moments here that I think I listed. I believed my top moments from the book. I do like the setting. I mean, I love the fact that we're like out in BFE. It's Alaska. Of course, we're going to be way far away. This isn't something where I'm really surprised it took S.H.I.E.L.D. that long to get there, because I'm sure they would have monitored the crash.
They went by donkey.
It was forever. I did think it was interesting that Drax was sensing like what the engines were doing before the crash happened. I don't know what was going on. He just tells the other inmates to shut up. He's listening to the pops, and everybody's like, "What the fuck are you talking about, dude?"
Oh,
listening to the
yeah.
pops.
Yeah.
He's like, "Yeah." And then at that point, the engine had failed, and they fell down to Earth. Let's see, what other fun things do I have here? Oh, dude, the execution of the elderly woman was straight out of nowhere for me. There is a point where they go into a Army Navy surplus store of some sort. It's Piebok and Lunatic, and they're like, "Where's the mayor?" Because Piebok's idea is like, okay, I've got to find the person in charge and have this person in charge get everybody to gather up as much scrap as they can, because we have to rebuild our ship in order for us to get out of here.
Hey, could we pause for a second?
Yeah, absolutely.
I have been holding this and trying. If I don't go to the bathroom, I'm going to pee on my pants.
I could notice you were doing the pee-pee dance.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Give me a minute.
It's fine. He's got to do the pee-pee dance. Pee-pee dance, pee-pee dance. Glad he waited to pull down his pants. He has to do the pee-pee dance. Boy, I hope you guys are entertained. Look, I'll run down through these while Mark's away, and then when he comes back, I'll save a few good ones for him. How's that sound? Does that sound good? Yeah, Drax sensing the ship's failure. Piebok already knows that Drax is a threat as soon as they crash. So they're kind of like, keeping an eye on him. It's interesting that Cammy, again, I feel like, Mark's interpretation of the character, I thought she was unique. She does look like a little bit of a punk, but she has a pretty bad, backstory. Her mom's a drunk, and she wants to escape. She wants to get out of Cooch Bluff as best as she can. Like there's nothing there for her, and she knows that. So when all this stuff happens, like the most interesting thing that ever happened in town. So she goes right to, it's weird how she finds out about it too. Like there's a security footage of it or something that's on a public access channel. And so she's like, oh, she calls up her friend Dex. She's like, let's go look at this thing. Let's go figure out what's going on. So she decides just to go like headlong into danger. And when she gets confronted by the aliens too, that was what's funny is Piebok and Lunatic show up and they're expecting to, scare the crap out of her. And she's not moving at all. She's like, I see this stuff all the time. Like this happened, last week on TV in New York. So she isn't scared at all. And So I was filling time with some of the other lesser known things that I had listed here. Some of my favorite moments.
Okay.
But anyway, yeah, the execution of the elderly woman, like the elderly woman stands up in this Army Navy place and is like, "Hey, you're looking for the mayor right over there. He is." And then she proceeds to tell Bybok pretty much just to go shove it. And he looks over at Lunatic and says, "Okay, kill her." And he grabs her and turns her head completely around on her body. Granted, this isn't really like gruesome and gory or anything like that, but it's definitely a situation. It's definitely a comic where it was outlined in the shadows. Like you could see exactly what happened. Drax being executed in the street was a big moment. I mean, just watching him get, the spike through his head, and there he is laying on the ground with a hole in his head. You're like, okay, wow, and the Cammy's reaction was like, whoa, cool. Drax being reborn was weird, but definitely like a big moment here. The Blood Brothers, one of the Blood Brothers ends up in the final fight with Drax. Drax stabs one of them straight up in the head with 2 knives and kills one of them. And then I love how Pybok is like standing there, and Drax is like, "All right, you ready? Let's go. We're going to fight."
I think that's my big criticism of the book, is that it takes 4 issues for Drax to finally start doing the premise of the book.
And that is to kill the other guys?
Yes, or get them back. Like take out the guy. We don't want alien criminals running around the Earth, so Drax has to take them out. It takes a while to get there.
Oh,
But when it does, it's satisfying.
Okay, all right. And yeah, so at the end of this, Drax. Well, let me go back to Pybok real quick.
You know what a better structure would have been?
Tell me.
The New Lieutenants of Metal.
Okay, all right. Now remind me, because I know we covered it. I just cannot remember how.
Every issue there was a new villain.
A new villain. Well, you got. I mean, we had a 4-issue story here. We had a definite beginning and definite ending. So I don't think they would have. And every issue a new villain. Okay, I mean, I would have liked that. That would have been neat. But
you know what would have been a better way to do this?
Tell me, Mark.
Kill Bill.
Okay, now I've never seen either one of those films. But
the premise of Kill Bill is the bride wakes up having been shot in the head, like you do. And when she's able to get feeling in her legs back after being in a coma and sexually assaulted, she makes a list of all of the assassins that went after her on her wedding day and killed everybody in the church and her groom and presumably her. So she's got to go through all of the different assassins before she finally gets to Bill.
It's like a gauntlet or boss level type deal, right?
Yeah, it's very video game-ish.
Yeah. Yep.
But it works because each of the assassins has like a different story and has a different thing going on, and they're further along in life than when she left them because she was in a coma for a really long time. Mm-hmm. So when she wakes up, like the Vivica Fox assassin is a stay-at-home mom, long since given up being an assassin. So when Uma Thurman shows up and she's like, "I'm here to kill you," she's like, "But I'm a mom now." She's like, "You weren't when you shot me in the head." And they proceed to have a fight in this house, and Uma Thurman kills her. Spoilers. And kills her in front of her kid.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's a rough movie.
Wow.
It's very stylized violence, and that's all anyone remembers. But you have to get past things like killing a mom in front of her kid, and stuff like that. And then the rest of the movie, the second assassin is Lucy Liu, and Lucy Liu has left becoming an assassin to become the head of a Yakuza. And now she's insulated. Plus, she has an army of 88 fucking ninjas called the Crazy 88s.
Oh, my.
So Uma Thurman has to get to Japan, get a new sword made by a sword maker who swore to stop making swords because he wants to live in peace and does not want to produce instruments of war. Then she has to find Lucy Liu's gang, get through all 100 plus of these motherfuckers who are running around with nunchuck swords and morning stars. And when she finally kills all 88 people plus the main goon squad, she has to face off against Lucy Liu. And that's just the first movie.
Wow.
The second movie, she has to find Michael Madsen. She has to find Daryl Hannah. And finally, she has to face off with Bill, who has some news for her. Hey, you know how you were pregnant at the time and you thought you lost the baby? Turns out I was raising it while you were dead.
Oh, no.
Here she is. Isn't this wonderful? You're going to kill a second person in front of their kid? Your kid, for that
Your
matter?
own kid? Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. What a tangled web we're in there, Uma Thurman. She kills Bill, by the way.
Oh, good.
Spoiler
Good.
alert.
That guy deserved it.
And then she takes claim of the daughter, because I think that's how adoption should run, by the way. I think if you decide you want to adopt a child, you just kill the parent. Child.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, kind of like how,
I think people have tried to do that, if I remember correctly.
probably sure.
It's
If
not.
it worked in the mirror universe of Star Trek, I don't see why it wouldn't work here.
Sure.
Anyway, that would have made a better Drax story, just to kill Bill. That type of structure, not the exact structure. I don't need to be Drax to be sexually assaulted while in a coma. That seems excessive. But what if he had spent the 4 issues going after, the worst criminals in the galaxy, and then he has to deal with like the final one, and the final one has somehow been entrenched in the Kingpin's army or something, or came upon, or sought shelter in Latvia with Doctor Doom,
right?
Or became an Avenger, because he was only an outlaw in space, but he wasn't an outlaw on Earth, and Earth doesn't know any better.
That's right.
Or became an X-Men. They'll take anybody.
That's true. That's true.
I was born with powers. You're technically a mutant.
Well, yeah, the way that this resolves itself is Pybok and Drax are going to face off. And Pybok's like, I am not going to fight you. I am not even remotely going to do anything, and proceeds to push a button and turn himself in.
Mm-hmm.
He goes and gets arrested. And the next thing we know, we're on whatever the next ship is.
Mm-hmm.
And Drax and Cammy are there. So Drax has taken Cammy with him into space, which explains the next, one of the appearances of the next show, or excuse me, in the next comic. Okay. So there you go. That is Drax the Destroyer, Earthfall. I think, as far as my overall take here, I think, it works for me. It's a complete self-contained story. It held my attention for all 4 issues. I feel like it knew what it wanted to do. It didn't overstay its welcome. It's not massive, it's not no massive cosmic tale. It's not some sweeping Marvel event. It's a transition story, though. It absolutely served the purpose of telling you, okay, the dumb Drax that we used to have is no longer going to be a thing. This is the new Drax, and it's essentially a way of reworking the character in order to find out let's see if we can make him more of a mainstay in the Marvel universe. Because I honestly don't know what other books he was in, if he was a popular character or not in 2005. I feel like he was probably on the fringe still, but yeah, this is a way of them kind of giving us a new shiny Drax. So, a new shiny Drax. But yeah, there you go. So that's my final thoughts. Do you have anything else you'd like to add before we move on to the next one?
Merciful God, no.
All right. Okay, well then we get into
the fun stuff.
Of course. Mark Radlich wants to talk about the 2015 CM Punk Colin Budd written Drax series. This was our art was Scott Hepburn on art, Matt Milla on colors, and VC's Clayton Cowles on letters here. So our full arc, just to kind of give everybody, we've kind of already talked about, I didn't really do a character dissection here, but we get some fun ones here. We're only going to talk about issues 1 through 5 first. This tells a compact, character-driven cosmic adventure that strips Drax down to his core motivations while giving him unexpected emotional growth. The arc begins with Drax fighting alongside the Guardians of the Galaxy, where his brutal efficiency and single-minded nature set him apart even from his teammates. When the mission ends and everyone goes their separate ways, Drax is left with the same purpose he always had: kill Thanos. Armed with a barely functional ship courtesy of Rocket, he sets off alone. It's called the Space Sucker, by the way. He sets off alone only to crash land on a forgotten world that becomes the center of the story. On this backwater moon, Drax stumbles into a mystery involving missing technology, vanishing people, and kidnapped children forced into hard labor. Along the way, he forms an unlikely bond with the retired cosmic tyrant Drax, and later an honorable gladiator named Torgo. What initially looks like a simple rescue mission escalates into a gladiatorial nightmare under the control of Fin Fang Foom.
Woo!
Whose prisoners are forced to fight and bleed to serve his needs, such as to bathe his eggs in blood so they can, Drax's raw strength and stubborn will eventually break the system, freeing the captives and exposing the truth behind the conflict. The arc reaches its emotional core when it's revealed that the children were mining eggs, Fin Fang Foom's offspring, and that the dragon's cruelty was driven by desperation rather than conquest. Faced with grief instead of evil, Drax makes an unexpected choice: mercy. Drax, finding purpose beyond destruction, stays behind to keep Foom company, closing the portal between worlds and ending the cycle. The arc concludes with Drax returning to the town, rescuing the children, and preparing for a new journey, transporting all these children home as he continues his endless path toward killing Thanos. So here you go, Mark. You've been wanting to talk about this one. What are your thoughts here, buddy? Issues 1 through 5.
I really liked it. Didn't quite love it, but definitely didn't hate it. Okay, the good, the bad, and the ugly. It's an aspirational tale. I want to stick as close to my notes as I can. So it's going to be kind of a mixed bag, because on the one hand, rescuing children from slave labor and taking them home is good and aspirational. It's also the safest possible story you can. Who's arguing with this? Who's like, right. Why would you go out and save children and bring them home? Why would you do an Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom?
That is exactly what went into my notes. I was like, oh my gosh, this Temple of Doom.
So it's like derivative, but it's deriving good stuff. So it's like, I can't really argue with it.
It's not horrible. You can just see where the inspiration is.
So there's that. I like the way. So Drax is kind of presented as, again, this force of nature, where it's so funny because one of the trades is called the greatest detective in the world, and he's not. He's not. He is helped along by the people around him and by happenstance and coincidence.
Yeah, I think at one point, like, he's investigating like stuff that's disappearing, like people are stealing sheet metal or something like that, or in technology, and it's happening like right under his nose.
Yeah, like I said, he is a blunt instrument.
Yes,
and stuff is resolving despite him, not because of him. You know why actually the Drax series is proof in the pudding that Drax only works well in an ensemble. Because Drax by himself can't get a.
Well, it ends up being an ensemble.
Yeah, yeah. He has to. Right, over the 11 issues, he has to get people around him because Drax by himself is a dog chasing his tail.
Right. He wouldn't be able to get anything done.
And it's so funny because you can definitely see how, like, you said this came out in what, 2015?
Yes.
The thing that it reminds me of is Infinity War. Because it's a clip that shows up a lot on TikTok where they're on, I think it's Titan, and Thanos hasn't showed up yet, and Iron Man's like, "All right, here's the plan. Here's how we're gonna defeat Thanos. We have to get the gauntlet off of him. Here's what's gonna happen." And fucking Drax and Mantis are just staring off in the deep space. Drax is yawning, and Iron Man's like, "The fuck are you yawning?" You know, and he's like, "What's there?" He's like, "Are you yawning while I'm trying to break it down?" He's like, "What's there to break down?" You know, and then Mantis does the funny thing, you know, like we take ass and kick names. because she's half a retard.
Yeah, put them on my team, please.
But even Star-Lord said in that, like, they're not really thinking it through people. You point them in a direction and they attack.
Right.
And if you look at everything that Drax does when he's not having a moment, like the beginning of Guardians of the Galaxy 2, he's the one that jumps into the maw of the monster and cuts himself out. You know?
Yep.
He does, like, that's what he does. Again, I said it before. You don't have to gain the intelligence derived from self-preservation when you don't have to self-preserve.
Right.
You are just an indestructible force of nature. So Drax really isn't blessed with a lot of, like, in this comic, he's not really blessed with a lot of forethought and thinking. But he does have feelings, which I thought was interesting. You know, CM Punk is a sensitive soul. And he definitely poured a lot of himself, I think, into Drax, which isn't readily visible, but hear me out. You know, CM Punk is definitely more poet than he is warrior. But he desperately wants to portray himself as more of a warrior and then keeps getting shown that he's not.
Mm-hmm.
What is the thing that everyone remembers most about CM Punk? It's the pipe bomb.
Yep.
Decidedly not a masculine physical moment.
Mm-hmm.
He sat crisscross applesauce and aired his grievances that he was allowed to say out loud.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he wins a fake fight with John Cena that we're all happy he won, but let's admit to ourselves that it was a performance and not a real fight.
Right.
CM Punk is a poet. He's not a warrior. But he desperately wants to be a warrior. That's why he took on the character of mixed martial artist. And so I think he puts that into Drax. What I saw is CM Punk saying, like, here is this, all anyone sees is this big green muscly monster. But what if deep inside he has feelings? He doesn't want to be alone. He's, like, depressed, you know. Fucking psycho killed his family. And he's just like, all I want to do is get revenge. I don't know what to do with my sadness. I don't know what to do with my grief. But I'm indestructible, and I don't have a lot of four-dimensional thinking. So what do you do about the depression derived from the sadness and loss of your family? Kill the guy responsible.
Yep. Single.
And that's all he thinks about.
Yep.
And when the Guardians leave him, he's like, okay, what am I supposed to do with myself? Well, I guess I'll just kill that. Like, he even says it that way.
That's sad. That is sad.
Like, everyone else is like, I don't want to be a Guardian right now. I have shit to do. And everybody takes off. Actually, that bit is funny because it starts with Rocket very much protecting. Like, Rocket is the wife in that, you know, in that couple where, like, Groot has fucking had it. And, like, I need to go. I am Groot. I need to go. And Rocket's like, I'm going to take Groot away now. Groot needs some time to himself. We're going to go. Like, it's like the wife ushering the husband out of the party because your husband has had one too many beers. He's about ready to fucking hit the host.
Right.
You know, or fucking do some terrible thing to him in a marble quarry. One of the two. And so the wife is like, okay, we're going to go now. You have a lovely home. Thank you. We're going to get the fuck out. You know, as you're like shoving him out the door. That was Rocket and Groot. And then everybody else is like, yeah, I don't want to be a Guardian right now. I have other things to do. And then this poor fucking Drax, like, if there's no engine pulling my big ass caboose, I don't know where to go or what to do.
Right.
And I only have one thing on my mind, and that's killing Thanos. Other people give him meaning. That's all over this book. Yeah. And I kind of like, I may not love that as a thing to be. I do love that CM Punk could have written this anyway, and that's how he chose to do it, which I think is very in line with the Drax character, as we've come to know him. Do you want me to keep going, or do you want to interject? Because I feel like I've been talking for a while.
No, man. I love that take on it. I mean, I didn't really. Well, you know, going into this, I did wonder, like, okay, how is CM Punk going to handle this? And I did wonder also, like, what parts of his soul were going into Drax, because I feel like, and this is definitely a point I wanted to make. What is CM Punk, as far as comic books go, before he started writing Drax, what is he known for? He's known for coming out on stage, looking at his watch and going, It's clobbering time.
And it fucking opens up with the thing saying it's clobbering
Exactly.
time.
Yes.
I'm glad you brought it up because I wanted to and forgot. But boy, talk about putting your stink on something.
I know, dude. Like right there, you knew. Like it was probably his dream to just be able to write. All I want to do is write the thing, like saying that at one point. And yeah, we opened the book up with that. So yeah, I did love that. But yeah, I wondered, how much of him was going into this, and I didn't read it too much into like the masculinity part of things here as far as CM Punk goes and Drax is here. But it's very masculine.
That's
book.
why I'm here.
Yes. Oh, trust me. I read your Chat GPT notes. I know.
It is a wonder you don't drink.
I know where. I can see Fancy knows exactly where you're going sometimes. So yeah, okay, yeah. I'm looking through some of my notes here. I mean, my thoughts on this was it's a pretty breezy read. I did not have any problems here. Did everything move pretty smoothly for issues 1 through 5? Did it drag at all for you?
No, none of the story. I like this story. So the story is basically Drax crashes, and then it's fucking what's his face from the Phantom Menace, Qui-Gon. Like, well, I have to go into town now so that I can get parts for my ship so I can get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
And while he's in town, he's embroiled in like the local politics.
Yep.
And so it's classic. Another thing that CM Punk does here and Colin Budd is it's classic hero stuff. Like, on the one hand, I complained that the hero is not Drax is unchanged by the end of this. He's still Drax.
He's still Drax. Yeah.
Well, he doesn't go on a hero's arc. I mean, he's not changed by this experience. Fin Fang Foom was changed more than Drax was. Terrax the Tiller made me laugh my ass off. Fin Fang Foom in fucking farmer's
overalls. Yeah. Yeah.
All that was missing was the wheat coming out of his mouth. I'm like crying. I was laughing so hard.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that's good shit. But Drax is fundamentally the same as he was at the beginning. Drax is not a bad, immoral person. When faced with a moral decision, he makes the morally right decision. He's just, a blockhead.
Mm.
So my point is, like, so the hero's arc, fish out of water, comes into town, gets embroiled and overwhelmed by the local stuff, is given a mission. Three amigos, right? The three amigos roll into town. The town is being raided by Mexican gang members. El Guapo, right? They face off with El Guapo, and they think, and the bit here in Three Amigos is they think it's all an act.
Mm-hmm.
They think they're being invited to perform a lot, in front of this town. And because the people are half retarded, they think the Three Amigos are actual like vigilantes. So now they're overwhelmed. They're on their ass. They can't fight for real. But they see that if they don't do something, they're going to lose this town. The innocent people are going to get hurt, and they're moral people. So they have to become more than they really are in order to defeat El Guapo and his gang. And they use the thing that they know best, performance. They dress the entire town. Spoilers. They dress the entire town up as amigos, and they come and they run all over the fucking. And now El Guapo thinks he's like surrounded by 100 amigos. And they're like, never mind, we give up. We won't come back another day. Stupid, but it's a funny movie. My point is, like, similar thing here. Drax walks into town and he, and it's like, oh, this is a bigger problem than me just beating the shit out of people. I actually have a real problem here. There are missing children. Well, I was a dad once. I wouldn't want someone to steal my children. I should go get them.
Mm-hmm.
It's not complicated. And so he does. And the problem is bigger than he ever anticipated. It's a giant space dragon using him for fucking slave labor. And the reason why they were stealing the sheet metal was because he had to build a portal.
Yeah. They were all trying to basically Fin Fang Foom put them on this, these raiders and everything to go out there and steal this stuff.
It's resolved when Fin Fang Foom goes through the portal and his eggs die.
Yeah.
And it's like, that had nothing to do with Drax. And then Fin Fang Foom is like, what is life?
Yeah, Drax goes through the portal along with Terrax, and I think at that point, and he's like, "Let's go in this. Let's take care of. Let's beat Fin Fang Foom." And they get over there, and Fin Fang Foom is like crying.
Yeah,
and
he's like, I don't want to be alone anymore. What children? He's like
Yeah.
a woman. Like, my biological clock is ticking.
right.
And what chance I did have is now dead. I don't care what you do to me anymore. Like, Fin Fang Foom, instant depression.
Yeah, he was like,
Drax,
just kill me now.
And Drax is like the fucking big dummy. If I could name 1,000 movies by the end of this, will you send me $100? Drax is like fucking Mike, like the lunkhead from My Cousin Vinny. Are we gonna fight now? Like, what are we doing here?
Right.
Like, the big thing was like, no, I don't want to fight. I want children. This is all wonderful stuff. Like, for all the complaints that I sent you, I'm talking to you about the really fun stuff that I saw in the book, because this is what made the book different from anything else that I've read, is this sort of thing. We talked about this with the Multiple Man book the last time we talked, 2 times ago when we talked about not every comic has to be super serious or fucking nameless, or it has to be the fucking anarchist cookbook or the Communist Manifesto.
Right.
You are allowed to have fun with these things and let, and even a cosmic space dragon can have wants and needs and boundaries, and and when things don't work out, feel sad.
Yeah.
Like, why can't it be that way? And that's what, to me, made this interesting and a fun read. Like, when Jonas asked me, he's like, what'd you think of the Drax book? I'm like, it's fine. These were fun reads. Like, I'm not putting it next to fucking Kingdom Come.
Right.
But it's not the worst thing I've ever read either. And I think that's perfectly okay. Please stop me from talking.
Well,
I'm going to keep going, Jesse. That's the problem.
That's fine. I agree with what you're saying there. I'd say, like, by the end of, issue 5, the decision not to kill Foom was pretty well earned. I mean, we could see that. And I did, this was the good thing was I was reading these straight through, but if I would have been picking this up, or if I had this trade, I would have wanted to see what's going to happen, because by the end of this whole shenanigans that's been going on, now Drax is like, okay, shenanigans. Drax is like, okay, I've got to take these kids home. So he's got to figure out a way to get these children home, and that's what's going to happen in the next arc.
Yeah.
I'm looking through my notes here just to see if I had any big moments that kind of stood out.
I think my complaints that I sent you were mostly because of who I am. Everything that I said I liked tracks for me. But there was also a frustration with, does anyone write classic heroes anymore? As we've been talking about it, I can see why CM Punk being who he is, I can see why he wrote the story this way. But it also made me long for classic masculine heroes, because this book has none of them in it. So I think it was more like, talking to you now, I see a lot of good in the book and a lot of entertainment value. But when I was reading it and I was talking to Fancy, I had these moments of frustration of, Christ almighty, doesn't anyone rob a bank anymore? Doesn't anyone write masculine heroes? Doesn't anyone write like classic, masculine heroics? Why is the namesake of the book and the hero of this thing not more of an active presence instead of just a force of nature? He might as well have been the rain in Florida.
The rain in Florida.
Yes,
happens all the time.
Comes and goes.
It does. Yeah, let's hold on to that, because we're going to talk about a little bit of that here as we get into the second part of this.
Okay.
I'll just throw out my notes here for issues 1 through 5. I think, like, at the beginning of our opening here, when we have that fight when he's with the rest of the Guardians, there's a moment where Drax like steps on one of these aliens' heads and like pops it. And went to the horror and shock of the rest of his team. So I think at that point they were like, man, this dude needs a break. We already talked about, Drax being left alone, Drax getting the space sucker, Terrax's introduction at the bar. He's all proud of his axe. Look at my axe, my axe. And that's the big thing that happens in the issue 5 is when they go through the portal, Terrax can't take his axe. It has been stolen at one point, and he finds his axe, and it's part of that portal. And if he removes it, it's going to close the portal down. And he makes a decision at the end to stay with Fin Fang Foom. And as Drax goes through the portal, and he closes the portal behind him because, by gosh, he has to have his axe. So I did love Terrax in this.
Terrax was very funny.
Yes. It's so funny, because most of the stuff that I've seen Terrax the Tamer in, he's all super serious Herald of Galactus. And at this point, you're thinking, and I think issue 1, like the cliffhanger is he turns around, there's Terrax, and it's going to be Drax and Terrax in this big bar fight. And he's like, no, man, let's just have a drink. It's great. Yeah. I mean, it's fun. And Terrax, again, the characterization here, way different from what I'm used to, which is perfectly fine with me. I did like Robot Head. Which was just a head of a robot who helped out every once in a while.
He gave good plot exposition. Like, Drax needs someone to tell him which way to go. And so the talking head worked well as something to move the plot along, because as you're developing a story, if your character has these limitations, you have to then create other characters to help your hero along, or the story doesn't progress.
Right.
Unless this is okay. So when people say like Ray is a Mary Sue, this is a Mary Sue, that's a Mary Sue, this one's overpowered, that one's overpowered. It's because the writers don't know how to write a character with limitations. And then they don't know how to create people around. So Indiana Jones, going back to this, Indiana Jones had limitations. Yes, he understood history, he understood religion, he understood archaeology. But he can't just waltz into the Middle East, into fucking Egypt.
Right.
And start digging in the ground. And so he has to depend on Sala. There's a coin that he needs atop of the spear in order for the sunlight to hit it that shows him where the ark is. Guess who has it? The chick whose name I cannot remember. I was a child and you knew it. She's got it. It was a gift from her father, who was a friend of Indiana Jones. So he has to go to Nepal. He has to get it from her, but then he has to face up to the fact that he fucking walked out on this poor child. And she's mad at him for it. There's Nazis chasing him as an obstacle, but we're talking about just the people around him to help him.
Right.
Indiana Jones does not get from point A to point Z without the help of other people.
By himself, right.
Right. So even Iron Man, the big help they gave him was a computer in his head. They gave him Jarvis, but he also has Pepper. He has some other characters Iron Man 3 is actually a really good example of this. Everyone hates Iron Man 3, but he's got the kid helping him. He's got a couple of other characters in the movie that sort of help him along, so that he can get to Guy Pearce at the end and blow up all the suits. Like, the best stories are the ones where we know the hero is fallible and he has to depend on other people to help him. And he has to be a decent enough person that people want to help him. If you make him a complete bag of shit, or you make him overpowered, why does anyone want to help or need to help?
Right.
And that's not a very interesting story. I'll give you one more example of this. If Luke is not only aspirational, but Luke is somebody that, little boys can project themselves onto. Like, who wouldn't want to be the chosen one to be trained by the old wizard and go up and fight the evil wizard and defeat the evil empire.
Right.
What if Luke was a bag of shit? What if growing up with Uncle Ben and Aunt Beru, and he was like a drug dealer? He's like selling fucking spice,
right?
In the Mos Eisley's cantina. What if he had gotten into weapon stealing, and an Obi-Wan shows up? He's like, Luke, you must learn the ways of the Jedi. Yo, fuck your couch. The fuck? Like, why? He doesn't go on the journey, is what happens.
No, he does not. He does not.
And no one likes Star Wars anymore.
Nope.
What if Han was a bag of shit? It's like, fucking midway through the thing, he like sells. we're gonna tractor beam your ship into the Empire. Hand walks out. He's like, they're inside. I would like to leave. I was on my way to Jabba the Hutt. You see, I'm done now.
He's done now. Yeah, back to my
moment. Saying about Drax.
Yeah. And
Okay.
what do you mean? Like, as far as
like he needs, we were talking about the robot head, like why the robot head character was necessary.
Oh yeah. I mean, he absolutely. This is people that help him along on his journey.
All right, I'm at least up to 20 movies.
Yeah, but people are keeping track.
Playing Rattledge Bingo. How many movie references will he make?
If only The Wire was a movie. I mean, we could work that in somehow.
That's the free space.
That is the free. That's right. My other note here was let's go slay the dragon. I loved that. Like that happens like at the end of issue 4, where they are going to go through the portal. It's him and Terax, and he kind of just looks, and they end it. I think right there. He looks to where he's like, "All right, let's go slay the dragon." And then we get into issue 5. We already talked about Fin Fang Foom's eggs and Drax choosing mercy. I think that's one of the big character developments.
He gets told. This is a great line because it's a character we haven't talked about yet. Wildfire, Livewire, Wild Live, whatever. Pink-haired fucking
Killer Thrill.
Killer Thrill, yeah. I was gonna say Alexa Bliss if she were, not white.
She is not. She ain't in issues 1 through 5. But yes, that happened. She's showing up here in a little bit.
Well, I was gonna say there's a line that the one character says, "You weren't always a cold-blooded killer. People gave you a second chance. She wasn't always the way she is now."
Oh yeah.
And I think that's a great line.
Right. And I think they throw her in here, and that to essentially be a mirror for Drax a little bit. And just to kind of show you kind of like what you were talking about. If Luke was a bag of shit, Killer Thrill is what Drax might be if he was a bag of shit.
Right.
So, but yeah, Drax choosing mercy at this point on Fin Fang Foom. That was good. A nice little character development. And so, yeah, I mean, my main takeaways from this, it was as we get through issues 1 through 5, breezy read, fun read, a lot of humor, a lot of stuff to keep you entertained. I was definitely reminded of Indiana Jones, Star Wars, Ragnarok. At one point, there was some stuff that kind of reminded me of those movies. So I liked it. So we'll go ahead and we'll get into the next set of issues, and this is going to be issues 6 through 11. Let me get to my summary here. So after rescuing a group of abducted children, Drax turns his attention to returning them to their home worlds, delaying his obsessive hunt for Thanos. Along the way, Drax reveals an unexpected moral clarity. When offered riches to wipe out cannibals threatening one child's people, he refuses, declaring himself no one's exterminator. As the group continues their journey, they are hunted by space raiders and bounty hunters, including the deadly psychic warrior Killer Thrill, whose pursuit is fueled by a massive bounty placed not on Drax himself, but one of the children under his protection. That bounty draws in familiar figures from Drax's past, including Cammy, once a surrogate daughter to Drax, and the unreliable Pip the Troll. Their presence exposes the emotional cost of Drax's single-minded life of violence. Cammy confronts him over abandoning human connection in favor of endless combat, while others urge him to reconsider a life defined solely by revenge. Tensions escalate as Killer Thrill infiltrates the group, violently clashing with Aura, which was the bartender, which I don't think we mentioned from the first one. But yeah, he runs into the bartender named Aura.
She doesn't have a tremendous amount of stuff to do in these books.
No. She's just like, hey, they're abducting people from the village. She would be the NPC that kind of
damn it, you fucking said it. I was like, hey, like, don't cut him off. Don't be what everyone else does to you. Don't do it to Jesse. And then you're like, NPC. And I'm like, damn it, I want to.
Yes. She'd be the bartender in Fallout, New Vegas, where you go and she says, yeah, there's kids being kidnapped. Well, she becomes part of the group.
She is the quest giver.
Yeah. She becomes part of the group, and she's definitely got a relationship or a previous relationship with Killer Thrill here. Anyway, yeah, Cammy confronts him over. I already said that. Tensions escalate as Killer Thrill infiltrates the group, violently clashing with Aura. whose brutal confrontation leaves her gravely wounded and reveals that Killer Thrill was never after the child at all, but something far more dangerous. The truth emerges with the hatchling of a baby dragon taken from Fin Fang Foom's brood, which going into this, they thought this egg was, just never going to hatch, that it wasn't ready to hatch. And I think Drax said it was his paperweight. The infant dragon imprints on Drax, rejecting the violence Killer Thrill attempts to teach it. When Killer Thrill tries to reclaim the dragon and mold it into a weapon, Drax intervenes, culminating in a massive battle involving multiple dragons and the return of Fin Fang Foom and Terrax. Foom reveals he has rejected his former bloodlust, insisting that the next generation must not be raised in conquest and cruelty as he was. The final confrontation resolves not through execution, but restraint. The baby dragon freezes Killer Thrill, choosing Drax over her, and Drax refuses to grant her the violent death she so desires. Instead, he walks away, demonstrating mercy while ripping her arm off, but demonstrating mercy while denying her validation. Recognizing that even he cannot safely raise the dragon without imprinting it with violence, Drax entrusts the hatchling to Aura, the one person who taught him compassion, and acknowledges that his own path of destruction nearly consumed him entirely. In the aftermath, Drax chooses connection over obsession. He admits he has been away from the Guardians of the Galaxy too long and decides to return to them, leaving the space sucker behind for Cammy and the others, suggesting they may become Guardians in their own right. The arc closes with Drax no longer defined solely as the Destroyer, but as someone who understands that protecting the future and breaking cycles of violence matters more than avenging the past. That is where we leave it. Now, I want to go ahead and read, if I can remember what ChatGPT said as I was going through the book. It said something along the lines of, what happens when Drax the Destroyer, Drax no longer is the Destroyer, but becomes a Guardian. And when you look at that and you frame that in what we read here, I think that works that one phrase works very, very well. Mm-hmm. So let's me and you get into some stuff here, because again, this is where I said we were going to have some fun. So I took your discussion with ChatGPT, threw it into my discussion with ChatGPT, and I said, okay, let's really nail down what Mark thought of issues 1 through 11 and what I thought of issues 1 through 11. Compare, contrast, give me some stuff. So I'm going to read you a statement. I need you to pay attention. Stop watching basketball for a second. 1 second. All right, here you go. That's right. Look at me. All right, here we go. Mark came away from the series seeing it as a story about failure and endurance, where Drax's strength and violence don't give his life meaning, and the universe doesn't reward heroism or masculinity the way older stories used to. Things happen, damage remains, and the best Drax can do is keep going. I took the series as a story about responsibility slowly replacing violence, where Drax begins to realize that his actions matter most when others are watching, and choosing mercy becomes more important than winning or killing. We both agree that the series isn't about saving the day. It's about what kind of person you choose to be when saving the day isn't an option. So that first paragraph, does that accurately, describe kind of what you took away from this? And I'll read it again if you want me to.
No, I got it the first time, but I think you and I are in our own ways circling. I'm a deeply cynical person. I don't know if you've picked that up. You are
pause for dramatic effect.
You, Robert, a few others, very much Alexis, very much cling to hope.
Sure.
You guys have, and it's not a matter of like a negative versus positive outlook, because Robert has a negative outlook, but Robert is aspirational in his thinking. He hopes people will get over themselves and do better and ascend and become the best versions of themselves they can be. I know they won't. I'm happy when on the off chance that on the occasion it does happen, but I'm prepared to be. You can't be disappointed when you expect nothing. So I have this very deeply cynical look at things. But I think you and I see the same things in the book and have different ways of talking about them.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, yours is shaped by hope and a belief in the betterment of each other if you just try a little harder. Mine is bent by disappointment and frustration on an ongoing basis.
Right. That's not funny.
Oh, that's so sad.
Yeah.
I have a deep resentment of people,
Sure.
and it comes out in the way I see the world. The fact that I'm right more often than I'm not.
Right. It just kind of validates that opinion, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I go where the data shows me.
I don't know why. So I told ChatGPT, okay, give me some questions to ask Mark, because me and you are going. We're gonna try and figure out like
And the
where
first question was, is he in therapy?
I wrote back. I said, "Well, I guess every day he is, but it's not like you think."
What are you gonna do after work, Mark? Lay on my face and think about my life decisions.
So this first question it has here, I didn't pick up on this when because I read everything you sent to me. So, but, I looked over what you'd said because I was wanting to get a good idea of how you were thinking about this book. So, but I don't remember them using the word nihilistic or you using the word nihilistic. Did you? And I just missed it. Did you ever say that?
I did. No,
okay.
I absolutely did.
All right, then the first question.
Relativism and nihilism seem to be the religions of the day.
Here, let me go ahead and I'll read you the first question, and maybe you can explain a little bit more. It says,
Sure.
do you see the series as fundamentally nihilistic all the way through, or do you think it ends up somewhere more responsible by the final issue?
I think the writers have a relativistic and nihilistic point of view.
Okay.
And it seeps through the book. The book resolves the issues quite nicely and positively, I should say.
Okay. When you talk about Fin Fang Foom's loss being final and meaningless, which I did not see this either, but you must have wrote it, being final and meaningless, do you see the baby dragon storyline as contradicting that or just another random outcome?
Well, I think what I had said, I think there was a change from how the first 5 issues resolve versus the second set of issues, which is why I said that, because Fin Fang Foom suffers this enormous loss, the loss of his children, its children, her children, not even sure anymore, they's children. Yeah. I don't know if you know this or not, but Fin Fang Foom's pronouns are they them. So
it told me
they them and
they them and flame on.
Anywho, and that's the thing. It was like, okay, to resolve this first arc, we're gonna make it so that independently of anything that Drax does, because again, Raiders of the Lost Ark, whether or not though Fin Fang Foom was going to lose his children because he didn't know, she didn't know, they didn't know that when you went through the portal, it would kill the eggs.
Right.
And I got to keep calling him he was going through the portal no matter what.
Yeah.
So ultimately, Drax is irrelevant to the story.
Right.
And I think that's more of what I was talking about. And then you go into the second part, and there's an egg anyway, and Fin Fang Foom's going to get everything that she wants. Now it's a she. Fin Fang Foom's going to get everything that she wants because all she wants is another baby. You come together, all that she wants is another baby.
Sing it.
It saw the sign. Never mind. And it opened up its eyes. And then so it gets a second shot at this, and then it's funny when it happens in the book because he's in the overalls, and Tarax is like, farming for a while was nice, but you and I both know we're going to get bored.
It's going to end up being Conquest again.
Yeah. I think that's what it was. It was like nothing feels earned in this book. Things just happen, and some characters get what they want, and some characters don't, and some characters start off not getting what they want, but then they do by the end. but none of it had any cause. It just a causality. It just kind of
happened. Okay.
That's what I mean by it's all relative. It's all random. Nothing that anybody did made a difference. That's my problem with. That's ultimately my problem. By the time I got to the end of this book.
Okay. So it says, next one. Do you think the humor is the book endorsing nihilism or characters coping with a universe that doesn't reward heroism anymore? That's pretty deep.
Again, you have to look at the characters are a reflection of the writer's point of view. If you were CM Punk, given everything that's happened, wouldn't you think nothing matters?
Right.
He quit. He left the WWE because he was injured and he was sick, and the company didn't respect him. And his being sick didn't matter to them at all. He was just supposed to work till he died. So he left.
That's what they expected.
He had enough money. He made demands. They laughed in his face. He was like, "I'm going home." And then they made him out to be a pariah. And then he goes and tells his story on Colt Cabana's podcast. And by the end of that, he still kind of looks like a pariah. And he gets into this giant legal battle with Colt Cabana. Then he goes to AEW and says, "How was I supposed to get better in the place that made me sick?" And everyone cheers.
Mm-hmm.
And by the time he leaves AEW, he's a fucking pariah. If you're CM Punk, just saying, and you have any insight at all, you have any self-reflectiveness, and you feel like the only one that loves you in this world is your fucking wife and random ass fans, but ultimately everywhere you've gone, you have not clicked. It has not worked out. You have left the place worse than when you came to it. Despite the fact that everything in your being wants you to, you're CM Punk, emphasis on the punk. You want revolution. You want change. You want to make things better. You want your actions to matter. And all you keep being told is it doesn't. The WWF is one of the most profit-bearing, successful places in the world. And all anyone wants to do is throw money at it. If you're CM Punk, what a slap in the face that is.
Oh, yeah.
If you're CM Punk and you're like, this company hurts, it kills people, there's a cultist who's a rapist. There's a lot of ists in this company. And here we are in a world where Saudi Arabia is going to give it zillions of dollars to perform its monkey show. By the end of that trip, you're like, fuck it. Pay me too. So that I can insulate myself from the fact that nothing I do in this world matters.
Matters, right?
People may appreciate it. People like art. People like physicality. They like competition. They like good looks and sexy bodies. But ultimately, he has so little control over how the world operates. And that's a death blow to someone like CM Punk, whose modus operandi was, I want to change this place. And I can't change it from the outside. I have no power. So I'll change it from I change it from the inside, except that almost killed me.
Yeah.
And he's not trying to change it now. Like, now he's just like, what do I have to do to survive here?
Right. Yeah. Thanks for the opportunity. Let's, what do
I'm going to help some of the younger guys not end up as fucking, not end up as
disenchanted. You're right.
Yeah. I'm here to make sure you don't end up as dead-eyed as I've become.
Right. Right.
That I think is that I believe that psychodynamic change within CM Punk is reflected in how he treats the characters in the story.
Okay. Do you see Drax as cosmically irrelevant, or is someone slowly realizing when his violence matters and when it doesn't?
I think relative to the immediate circumstances, his violence has a huge impact. He's big and strong and indestructible. He's a bomb.
Right. Okay. Would killing Killer Thrill have proved your reading of the book more than sparing her?
I think killing her would have ruined the book.
Okay. All right.
Because
and I feel I agree.
You already have almost nobody to cheer in these books. Yeah. If you bought the book, you're cheering Drax. And if Drax I saw Send Help earlier today, and I said, in spoilers, Rachel McAdams kills at least 3 people in this book, in this movie, and she's rewarded by being a superstar. loved by all. And I was like, is that the message here? You know, it doesn't matter what you do; it's only matter who you fool.
Right.
You know, is killing people. Killing people isn't. You shouldn't get punished for killing people if we like you already. If you've suffered in any way, if you've been traumatized or abused,
Not a
you
good
should be allowed to
message.
kill. You should be allowed to kill people indiscriminately.
Not a good message.
No, because you can make the argument that she kills her boss, and that was deserved. They were fighting. In the other case, where she kills his fiance and the guy helping her, she did it for self-preservation. It was murder, and I'm supposed to fucking cheer this character?
No.
No. But that's the thing. They wouldn't have made the movie if they didn't want you to cheer her. They want you to cheer Drax, but in the difference being they don't let Drax become a cold-blooded killer of innocent people. Rachel McAdams did.
Right. On masculinity. Did you read the book as saying masculinity is obsolete or that it has to learn restraint to survive?
Yes.
Let me read to you why this works. This is what it says. It says, why this works refrains cosmically irrelevant into evolving.
Mm-hmm.
And let's mark nuance his poetic, post-heroic masculinity take. So
I've been watching a lot of 80s and early 90s stuff, and the big takeaway from a lot of it is masculinity is fine, but masculinity should not be overtly threatening or undermining.
mm-hmm.
And you can't get away with we should have masculinity if that's what it's going to be. You know, we can define masculinity as something other than undermining or threatening.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
There's plenty of ways to define masculinity elsewise without watering it down or, you know, constraining it to the point of irrelevancy.
Last one.
Okay.
You talked about endurance replacing meaning. Did you?
Kind of. Drax has to just get to the end of the book,
mm-hmm.
and it'll all be okay.
Do you think
ending as opposed to creating change? In other words, Luke has to actually do some things. Luke has to save Princess Leia, and the odds are against him that he's gonna. And even when he does it, she's skeptical. Shorty McGee can pull it off.
Mm-hmm.
And then they are immediately shot at by every stormtrooper in the galaxy. Then they're in a garbage bin where Luke is attacked by a monster, and then they finally get out of the Death Star, lose Obi-Wan Kenobi along the way, and get to Yavin. And then he's like, "Here, get into this. You're an able-bodied boy. Get in this fighter. Go attack the Death Star. I'm not even gonna get a training mission here, am I? No, sir.
Get right in the seat.
We saw you flying around in your little sand speeder. It's good enough. Good enough for government work." And then it's like, all right, go attack this big thing and shoot this small target with these big missiles. Lots of luck. Luke has to do things in order for the plot to move forward, and he has to be successful at it.
Right.
What did Drax have to do for this to be successful? He had to last while things unfolded around him.
Pretty much.
I'll give you, again, the bride. The bride has to endure and conquer all of the different Deadly Viper Gang people.
Yeah.
Or the plot doesn't move forward. She's not just wandering around waiting for things to happen or fucking waiting for Godot,
Right. You talked about endurance replacing meaning. Do you think the ending replaces endurance with responsibility?
Sure.
I think what it's trying to drill down on there is about how I took away, the whole imprinting thing and how Drax learns a lesson by the end of this, right?
Sure.
He learns.
Sure. I'm agreeing with you.
He learns the lesson that violence at the start of things being
There
brought
can't
up
be more to this world. There can't be violence can't be the only thing in this world. It can't be the only solution.
Yes, and raising someone surrounded by death and violence.
Well, I think that's actually a brilliant point now that you mention it, because I didn't think about this before. But Drax is a blunt instrument. He's a living weapon, and when the Guardians don't need a living weapon, they don't need Drax, and Drax feels it hurts it hurts his heart. Like, why is this the only way I'm seen?
Right.
You know, there was a great bit in Ted Lasso about, Isaac. You know, you look at Isaac and you see, this big, strong, hulking human being, and it's like Isaac, like, does anyone else see that I'm like a sensitive person? And and I hate the fact that you think that I would be prejudiced against you being gay when the whole thing with Colin happens. It's like Colin doesn't want to tell Isaac, and Isaac's like, what hurts me about this is that you don't trust me, that I would be kind to you, that you think, based on how I look, based on how I am, that if you tell me you're gay, I'm going to have negative feelings towards you. We're friends now. Why wouldn't we be friends after you tell me this? Because there's a genuine fear that if you tell someone you're gay, they will think differently of you.
Mm-hmm.
And Isaac takes that very personally,
Mm-hmm.
because Isaac is judged by his appearance. Same thing here. Drax is like, if all I am is a weapon to people, and I am basically a knife that you put back in the drawer when you're not cutting things, the fuck is life then? What am I supposed to be doing? How do I become more than a weapon?
Right. He starts to realize that, I mean, I feel like he realizes he has been brought up that way. He believes that's his singular focus in life now is to, kill and murder. And specifically now it's, Thanos is on the agenda. A lot of this story is Aura, Cammy. I think Terrax even looks at him. Terrax, the farmer, looks at Drax and says, you need to chill out, dude. You need to chill out. You need to stop thinking and having this singular focus. Maybe you don't go and kill Thanos. How about you just give it a rest for a little bit and maybe chill out? And by the end of the book, he starts to realize that it's an unfortunate situation that he is like that, and he does not want something else or anybody else to. It's not a way to live, and that's why that's
no way to run a railroad.
That's why he doesn't let the baby dragon go back with Fin Fang Foom, and that's why he doesn't take care of it, because he knows that this thing needs a better chance than he did, a better chance than Killer Thrill did. So yeah, that's a lot of what I took out of the book, is that he's basically learning that, okay, this isn't a good way to live. It isn't like he just goes, okay, I'm done. And then he's like, I'm going to go, where's the farm at, Fin Fang Foom? Let's go, raise some space wheat. I don't know. But
it was so much gayer than that. They were like growing fucking tofu, or some shit.
Yes. Yeah. And Terrax is like, no more kombucha for you.
Right, no more kombucha for you. You think this was written by somebody who's very much living in the now?
Oh, goodness me. That new wave CM Punk. Anyway, all right. Well, there it is. That's our discussion on the final arc, issues 6 through 11 of Drax.
Have you ever thought about CM Punk the way I talked about him tonight? Or were you just like, Jesus Christ? Or did you have the experience that I have with other people where you're just like, oh my God, I didn't sign up for this TED Talk?
Oh, look, I am a big fan of CM Punk.
I thought you say you're a big fan of me, and I'm like, well, I understand that.
Oh, well, thanks. No, I'm a big fan of CM Punk. I've always found his career interesting. I always felt like, I was more of a supporter even though he was kind of a bag of dicks there for a little bit. But I always respected him and the athlete that he was. I was running around here calling Colton CM Starch when he was younger. So, but yeah, as a writer, I completely get where you're coming from. Looking at what his career and the experiences that he's had influenced the story that he wrote here. I think it's good observations, and you put a lot more thought into what type of person CM Punk was and knew way more of the trials and tribulations that the man had faced.
Don't give yourself too little credit. You have to remember, I am a professional therapist, and for the past almost year, I have been thinking about the world and then writing about the world and talking about the world via social media as somebody looking at it through a psychological lens.
Right.
I have now, that's kind of my default setting.
Yeah, I was going to say,
you looking at
you've
people,
been raised just like Drax, and now I'm the guy that has to tell you to chill out, Mark.
Well, yeah, it's like you see the world through spreadsheets and unemployment numbers.
I do.
I see the world through a therapeutic lens. So when I see CM Punk, I don't just see a guy airing grievances. I'm looking at psychologically what made him do the things that he do and think the way that he thinks.
Right.
It's my job to interpret people's behaviors and pull out the reasons why they do the things that they do. I do a cognitive behavioral interpretation of people on an ongoing basis. It's part of my job, but it's also how I'm operating in life these days.
Right.
So the fact that you don't see half of the bullshit that I said doesn't make you less observant or anything like that. It's just, we're just two different people with two different walks of life at approaching 50 who just see the world differently.
That's true. That's very true. You know what that means?
Is it time to talk more about Saudi Arabia?
It's clobbering time.
Oh, you got me. Oh, I'll put the cuffs on.
Let's get the hell out of here.
Go away, Rutledge.
Let's get the hell out of here. All right, man. So there we go.
Get our groceries and get the hell out of here.
I'm trying to remember the lyrics now off the top of my head. I can't remember them. All right, let's get into plugs.
There's a sale on beans.
This is the guy that skips work, right? That doesn't, because he doesn't, because he's eating beans
all day in his bathrobe.
Eating beans all day in his bathrobe.
Right. He went to the grocery store to get beans.
You did not know about the Beans concept album. I have it all lined out. Those are the first two songs right there.
Oh,
just eating beans. No, I'm not. I'm not serious. Although, boy, that would be kick ass if I could come up with something.
I think your album cover should be, a guy just bent over and he's passing gas and there's a person behind him and he's got like black, like explosion face.
His hair's all flown back. And
yeah. And it just says eating beans all day.
Eating beans all day. Oh, man.
Tomorrow. So you're going to cut this and it's not going to make any sense.
No.
But we are live currently on the W2M network, and tomorrow on the W2M network, which would be February 2nd, we are reviewing Send Help. I'm eating beans all day. Tuesday, Alexis and Sean, like the Muppets, are together again. And they are reviewing. You lost Jason and gained Sean. Just basically zero sum. So they're gonna do Percy Jackson season 2, and then no show Wednesday, but Thursday Jason and I will be doing our tribute to football as we gear up for the Super Bowl a week from tonight. We're gonna look at Varsity Blues, the program, and Necessary Roughness.
Oh, Necessary Roughness! What a great movie! Holy Toledo!
A week from tomorrow is streaming movie catch-up night. It'll be myself and Robert in lieu of doing Damn You Hollywood. We're doing The Rip, The Wrecking Crew, and Roofman. He's on the roof again.
The Rip was good.
If I'm gonna say yes to Kat and Mick every time they ask me for something because they batted their eyes at me, I have to say yes to Alexis just out of loyalty alone. So she wants me to watch the new 2026 Muppet Show pilot. And it's not a tall ask. So we're gonna review that on the 10th. And then Black History Month continues. We did an early Black History Month show with Bamboozled in the middle of January. We are going to continue looking at Black cinema with some classics from back in the 80s. As rap was starting to get popular, they were starting to make movies about it. And those movies are, two of those movies are Breakin' and Breakin' 2 Electric Boogaloo. That is a real title, Jesse. I did not just make that up every time I've said it. That is the real name of the movie.
I know. I think that now never mind.
What's your problem?
Oh, I was just thinking there is a distinct memory that I have of going to go watch a movie at a drive-in. And I believe they had a double feature of Neverending Story and Electric Boogaloo 2.
Hey, guess what I'm doing a week from Friday?
Tell me.
I'm taking your National Nightmare to go see an Alice Cooper cover band for her birthday. Would you like to be disappointed in me now?
When is the Metal Hammer of Doom happening?
The 15th.
And you're going when?
That weekend, the 13th.
Cannot wait to discuss it with you.
She currently is working. She's doing well, and she doesn't have any men in her house doing domestic violences. So I think we're going to manage to get through this particular one.
Let me know if you get there on time. That we'll start there.
I told her, I gave her a schedule, and then I took time off for it. So this is either going to go very, very well.
Just in case.
Well, Jesse, I'm going to tell you this right now. This is either going to go well and swimmingly and without issue, or it's going to be another 6 months before she sees me again.
I understand.
Rope, thin ice.
Understood.
I've been told recently that I've alienated a lot of people, to which my answer was good. But also
mission accomplished.
Score one for the good guys. But I will say this, in all seriousness, I have no problem walking away from people.
I get it.
I add value. I try to add value to every life that I come across. If you're not doing that back, why would I bother?
Right. I get it.
So that's what's going on with me. What's going on with you?
Oh my goodness. Well, yeah, ladies and gentlemen, listen, go back in the archive. You can listen to me and Mark Radlich talking source material all the time. Yeah, we got a lot of shows in the past. My goodness, we talked about The Crow. We talked about Layla Starr. I don't have the schedule up. I'm venting or vamping. That's what it is. I'll start venting here in a second. Give me a minute.
You're vanting, glamping.
There's a tent out back. I got electricity going to it.
Woo, doggy.
I'm glamping. So
cold lamping.
No. Okay. So yeah, as far as what Mark and I have done in the past, I think tomorrow, as far as this, anybody watching live can hear me and Mark Radlich talk Happy, the comic book by Grant Morrison, if I remember correctly. Yeah, we were on our Grant Morrison kick at that point. So we got Happy, and then a couple weeks later, we got Joe the Barbarian. So yeah, you can check us out talking about that. I think me and Evan are going to be recording Snap material here on the 3rd. So if you...
That reminds me, I forgot Valentine's Day. I have 2 sweeties on Valentine's Day. One's Erica, the other one's Evan, both E's.
Neat.
We're doing a comic book adjacent triple feature. We're going to look at Oblivion, Snowpiercer, and The Fountain.
Wowzers.
Yes,
that's
sir.
pretty
cool. Back to you, Jesse.
Well, Marvel Snap is where me and Evan Bevins could be found there. And I think we're recording our newest episode on this coming Tuesday. And
now, when you guys play Strip Snap, do you upload it to your OnlyFans?
Here it goes.
Which one of you has the OnlyFans, you or Evan? Or is it like a joint account?
Oh, shoot. You wouldn't believe what just crawled across my desk.
Is it a middle finger?
Ha!
There it is.
Anyway.
How does he even put up with him?
Anyway. Well, you could see that one coming a mile away. So
right when you poop today. I'm about to check your temperature. Heavens to Betsy.
Oh my goodness.
The funniest fucking thing in the world is that I've got my kids doing now. Heavens to Betsy.
Nice. Very nice.
It is
Very
always great when you can get your kids to do something that is completely anachronistic.
Yes, they have. Yeah, they're not yelling 6-7. They're doing "Oh heavens to Betsy."
Oh heavens to Betsy! Yes,
Nice, very nice.
Oh, or the other one that I'm really famous for now with my kids. Oh my stars and garters.
Oh, that's good. That's good. That's a comic book reference too.
Yes.
So
Heavens
listen,
to Murgatroyd even.
oh my goodness, even. As far as the Unspoken Issues podcast, you can hear me, Dean and Derry, talking G.I. Joe, the Ben Zaheen saga, Trucial Abysmia War. Yeah, check that out. That was a lot of fun. 90s comics all the time over there. And I think that's it. That's all I have on the schedule right now. So with that being said, we are getting out of here. That over there is Mark.
All day.
He's eating beans all day. I'm going to have a tuna pack for lunch. That is Mark Rattledge. I'm Jesse Starcher. Thank you very much for joining us. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.